I think I'm gonna wait until Apple releases their product before I do a VR, before I buy into VR anyways.
Oh yeah.
Because yeah, well, there's no point in like having outside. I'm already like all in on all of Apple's like stuff. So I don't want to have like one Oculus thing. And anyways, Zuckerberg creeps me out. No offense.
Oh yeah.
Although
I
he's hitting some high notes for internet memes where like one year he was electric surfing with a kabuki like zinc on his face because he's so pale.
oh yeah.
It
Yeah.
like because and the photo was like a paparazzi photo, so when he's like looking back, he's all like surprised, like you just caught him masturbating, like he's got like that face.
Yeah.
And then a year later, he does like an awesome version of him like waving the American flag on 4th of July. You see that video, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, eventually our podcast or whatever will go in VR,
Wow.
and
That'd be
then and
cool.
then and then I would have a bromato tomato face, and you'd have a Dragon Z face, and we can have our podcast in the portals room. I mean, that
Yeah.
actually would be cool to do
Yep.
that.
Yep. They're releasing more and more information. And I actually found out that it's like each card is access to one room and you can kind of uh instead of like the 400 that I thought, and you can
Wait,
adjust.
wait, you've just had your real estate cut by 400 rooms or for 399 rooms?
Yep, yep. But you can kind of change the layout and the theme and stuff based on each which one you have. So,
So you have two rooms in the portals world.
mhm.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to edit out whatever was in the last one. Um, just for if anybody ever listens to anything we say, nothing is checked or verified, and we just have our conversation and throw it out there and move on because we're both
I,
extremely busy. You're sleeping in 3 hour increments. If anyone wants to judge the stupidity that's coming out of your face, they should discount it by the fact that you're basically I don't you're basically torturing your brain by like not getting any REM sleep for 6 weeks, and in exchange you've got your crypto rich now.
I don't know. It
You're
doesn't
not
feel
do
real.
you're not Doge Poppy rich, but you're NFT rich. Um,
Uh, yeah.
okay, so today, did you send me the bullet point tasks, or I'm just gonna turn it over to you, and you're gonna run the show?
I wanted to go over just what the wallet, like what like Phantom wallet or MetaMask wallet looks like in general,
Yeah.
and like in how you use them in the browser extensions, and then also like what the marketplaces look like and how you interact with those. And then also I could do what you said where you I show you examples of like a Discord, like for certain projects and how it looks, and then the other projects that are really good and how those look, and you can see the difference.
Yeah, because a little bit of the red flag stuff. Remember when you were telling me that someone dropped these weird Solana Ibu coins in my thing, and you were like immediately warning me, like, watch out for that stuff. There's a lot of scams, and I was like, how can they scam you? Like, if it's I thought it was like a one directional, like once you send me your coin, it's mine. How is there a scam attached? And then I shared in my Discord that explainer on how the scams work. When people airdrop you coins, the links to the coins, there's like, you know, malicious code in the links once you click on them. And so the tokens are really just like the breadcrumbs. And I mean, we should actually at some point go over that thread where it explains step by step how like the most prominent airdrop scams work, where they create
Yeah,
these like fake liquidity markets and all that. But
yeah.
yeah, let's go ahead. Christina is actually on one of the channels. She did a voiceover in Indonesian to teach people how to like do a MetaMask wallet and how to do
Oh,
like
cool.
a Solana wallet. But I think this would be really useful to have your mellifluous voice walk us through it. and especially with an eye towards NFTs.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. So let me.
Do I just share screen?
Yeah. How do I do? Make you the host. Hope it keeps
Oh,
recording. Change
the host
host.
has to enable. Yeah. Or you can just enable me. Oh, I am the host now. Okay.
Yeah.
I will share with you. Oh,
Also, I hope no proprietary security information around your wallets uh, goes out. So just let me know if we need to figure out something to hide your information.
whoa, I don't know what's going on with the computer right now. What is going on? Oh, 1 second. I don't know what's going on there. Let me, maybe I have too many things open right
Sounds like you might need to upgrade to the M1.
this is the first trouble I've had with this really, which is surprising. So, let's try this again. Okay.
I've
All right.
I've
Can you?
heard a lot about Solarium NFTs. It's been crossing my Twitter space for a while, but I don't know that much about it.
This is a project that are these digital flowers, and they don't have any real utility. They're just like these procedurally generated 3D flowers. And I thought that they were really cool because this is something that you could give as a gift to like somebody in a digital display that is like a pretty unique gift. And it's being shown at that Art Basel in Miami
Right now,
right
the
now.
one where
Yeah.
Musk shows up with his nanny and his mohawk. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't,
Like
but I figured something like that would happen.
the dumbest things now make the news just because he's like rich and important. They're like, there's a whole article written about how he has a mohawk now. And I'm like, how
Oh,
did I set up my life where this is what's I'm seeing in the news? Sorry, go ahead.
wow. Yeah.
So
So,
wait,
I
can
mean,
I just say that this looks like if I can just put some digestion on this, how I'm thinking about this, this looks to me like the lowest end of NFTs, which is simple art, or maybe second to lowest, because like the most simple would be like just an image, right? With nothing
yeah,
attached to it. This one looks like it's a image graphic that's like computer generated, but there's nothing else except the art itself, right?
yeah, yeah. This is like, yeah, like exactly how you said. It's not a straight JPEG, it's a GIF. And it's also like more memory than most GIFs because of the 3D animation and stuff. So this project, they're using what's called a launch pad, where instead of you going to their own website, they're at this Mint Authority website. And that is like where instead of having them build their own launch pad on a website, this website builds it for you, and you just they host your project.
So is that would be one option with our secret friend and our secret project? That's the NFT project that's what we're thinking about. or
Yeah.
assisting in, that could be one way to go about it without having to go through. These are like, this is the first step in the infrastructure for people who just want to get their stuff out without all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. You can just
Yes.
mint it on mintauthority.io if you want to do it
Yeah.
on Solana. And it looks like
Yeah.
they only have a Phantom Wallet connection.
Yeah, yeah, for now they only have Phantom Wallet. So I have my browser, and then this is like my Solana wallet. I actually have a bunch. You start off with one, and so I have like my Solana in here, which is just like a little bit.
Oh, you also
I
have Solana Inu?
Yeah, Solana
Are
Inu
you?
did this like whole drop to all the dragons holders, and
That's what
people
I
just
have.
yeah, I
That's
think
the
they
one
just
that
did
you
it
said
to a
is
bunch of random.
that's what you said is a scam. That's why
I Yeah, I think it's always better to err on the side of this is a scam and then find out later like, oh, this is a legit thing. So I didn't click on any link here. I just looked
oh, so
up
you're just
the
leaving it in there and
I
then just
can
seeing.
sell it. It's actually a token and it's actually tradable. And they just were doing this as PR, I guess, basically. So just sending some out because it wasn't that much money.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
right
for
now
me,
it's
I just
$10.
it's in my wallet, but I just like removed it from what I see, so it's still there, you know.
Yeah, you can trade them on the dexes like Radium or Serum or something.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of people are doing. And
Oh,
then
there's your Boku,
yeah, this is the Boku.
the money you get from your dragons. Is that
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah,
And a certain amount of Boku will allow you to buy uh, sex with a female dragon. I forgot
yeah.
how it works exactly.
It's they have a pairing system. It's like the
Yeah.
breeding, and this is how you pay for the breeding to get an
Okay.
egg. And so I get 7 every day,
That's crazy.
and you can see the transactions here. They'll say recent
See,
activities.
this is what I want. I want to participate in NFTs that are productive assets, that are
Yes.
generating some sort of productive, semi-liquid asset that I could, trade. I can keep it in the denomination of the token, Boku or whatever, or I could swap it out into something else. Those are the kinds of assets I'm the most interested in.
Yeah. Let me show
Wait, type
radium.
in P and let's see what websites show up. You know that prank?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'd be okay actually. Anyway, so you like on a trading, this is radium, which is a DEX
Do
on
you
Solana.
did you first go to Serum and then click on Radium, or you've just been going straight to Radium now?
I just go straight to radium
Is
because that was
Radium is the engine that runs Radium Serum?
I am not sure actually.
The other question is have you used Orca also, or you just prefer
Orca.
Radium? Yeah.
I have used Orca a bit, but uh, so I just use radium more because that's like been more of what the dragons have used for their
Okay.
liquidity pool and stuff. So like right now I can see the current price of Boku. So I had to select Boku as a token and then you can swap it into USDC if you want to.
So it's
And this is
trading
the
at
current rate.
one Boku trades at $10,
Yeah,
or
almost
almost
11.
11.
Mhm.
So you're getting $77 a day off of
Yeah.
your NFT, and but your
Yeah.
NFT has gone up to what was the price? 60,000.
I mean, it's kind of settled a bit, but I really basically go off of this is Magic Eden, by the way.
What's the your guesstimate on what your NFT is worth?
I can show you actually. Mine is based on the fact that I look at the floor price which is like the cheapest price on here, which is 185 Solana is the cheapest one.
So what do you think it is? What is 185 Solana?
I mean, 200 is like 200.
37,000. Do you know what your dividend is right now on your Boku? Your Boku is giving you a $28,000 a year dividend at today's prices. And
Yeah,
if the base and you get 77 you get 7 Boku no matter what kind of thing you have.
yeah, yeah. Each dragon gives
So
you seven.
here's what the economics of that is. You're getting $28,000 worth of Boku a year, and you can buy into the cheapest of these dragons for 36,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting like a 97%, whatever, 28,000 out of 36,000 to 28 out of 36. Let's see, what is that? You're getting a 77% compounded annual growth rate, like 77% API, basically.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
now.
these dragons are either crazy undervalued, like these cheapest ones,
Mm-hmm.
or the price of Boku is crazy overvalued. But there's no
Well,
way, like longer term, this is insane. Something is misaligned because if you're getting a 77% return, that's really high
yeah,
just on the
they have
dividend.
incentives for people to not sell. Obviously, like there's the breeding thing, so that keeps people from selling. And then they also have like a liquidity pool that people can engage in here. So I could like stake or do liquidity providing to a specific pool here, and I can send the Boku and the USDC into a pool. And everybody in the Dragons is putting their Boku and their USDC into the same pool. And that helps stabilize the price of uh, Boku. And, and also, I think really everyone in the project understands that if everyone sold, then the value would be nothing. So they're trying to incentivize people to hold it, and the breeding is the best way because you can sell all the boku you have, but you could potentially get 2 or 3 times that from selling the baby egg. So that's kind of where the incentive comes from for people
Yeah,
to sell.
I mean, on the one, I'm just yeah. So I I'm just pointing out what the current uh like tokenomics of what's going on is.
Mm-hmm.
However, and obviously, and so the returns are really ridiculous, but longer term, the fundamental driver of the demand, you can do whatever you want to do in terms of community manipulation of like supply by making people hodlers and creating incentives, but ultimately the other thing that's going to drive the price of the whole system is demand for it. And outside of like financial FOMO, the intrinsic demand would be what entertainment value are people generating from participating in it. So like you can
Yeah.
like scoff at the Star Wars franchise and be like, that's dumb, that generates no value, except for the fact that people enjoy it. And so that's why they buy tickets and buy the toys and play all the stuff inside of it. So like ultimately, this kind of stuff to me is entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And at least at this stage, and you can build an tokenomics or economic system around the supply of entertainment, which would create prices and all that stuff. But like the
Let me,
driver is the entertainment.
yeah, let me show you the actual website because they have a chart that explains the tokenomics. So this is the Boryoku DragonZ website, and it talks about the story behind the pictures. And here are the tokenomics, basically. So there's like a total supply, and what does it say?
What does this 18% mean? Or sorry, is that
Uh,
10% under baby dragons
10%. So the baby dragons can generate 10% of the total supply of the tokens.
per day
Uh, yes, I think. Well, like
or
it's basically one per day they get. So we get 7 tokens a day, they get one, is what we think. Well, we don't know yet. Because nobody has a
what
baby
is
dragon.
LP incentives? Is that the people running the program? The
This is
insiders?
liquidity pool
Oh,
incentives. So these are like the incentives for you to provide liquidity to help stabilize the price of Boku.
okay. And then reserves is what? How much?
It's what left over, like after all of these amounts. So there's 10% of the whole supply kept in reserve
Okay.
for various things. And so they have like, these are the different things that you can use. Not yet, they haven't implemented these yet, but you can eventually do name change, like a Discord rank, because you have different Discord servers that you can get into based on the ranks. And then they're probably going to add other stuff like clothes or whatever. And then the breeding, and that's the incentive for people to hold, uh, so they can have enough to breed. But also, each time someone pays 850 boku to breed an egg, uh, that boku gets burned. So there's like continuous pressure upwards on the price because the supply keeps dwindling. Same thing with the fast hatching. The fast hatching costs like 350 boku. So if you want to spend that, then you can hatch the baby faster.
That's yeah. And ultimately, it all assumes that there's demand to participate in this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
So
so there's a lot of people copying this idea right now because of the popularity of the dragons. But like you said, the demand is only based on like what people actually, if people actually want the brand,
if,
and
yeah, if they
there's an
enjoy it,
exclusivity.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
and so when the with the first NFT you're showing me those uh computer generated flowers that were gifts, that's
mhm,
kind of a one-off thing, right? The
yeah,
Solarium ones. And
yeah,
there's nothing around it or associated with it. It's just here's this image, right?
yeah, yeah,
And with uh, the DragonZ, uh, so Boryoku DragonZ, there's these games associated with it and lineage and all that stuff. Now let's, uh, yeah, okay, great.
so they kind of explain it here. And this is similar to the cyberkong's system, but this is more elaborate, I think. And also, we don't quite know a ton of information. Like this group does a lot to keep things under wraps, and they don't even tell us a lot of the information because they want to consistently give us a slow drip. So even we don't know all the information. And it's a really good way to manage the project, I think, because you can't control like 500 people's decisions, and certain people can leak information to other groups, and they don't want us to do that. So they're trying to keep everything secret for now.
Okay.
And I think that's probably the best way to do it, because then people can't manipulate the system uh, themselves.
Okay.
So every like NFT project website is going to have a layout similar to this, where they talk, this is the name of the project, this
It
is the
looks exactly
supply.
like Street Fighter from the
Yeah,
90s,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the graphics.
Yeah. This is like the pixel art, and a lot of pixel art is not this advanced. Like there's shading, there's lighting sources, there's a lot involved in these, and you don't see something. This is like an animated GIF of the Boku. So they'll have like the supply, the tokenomics, the utility, if they have breeding, not every NFT project has breeding, but like I said, because of the dragon's popularity, everybody wants to do breeding now.
Okay.
And then the governance token, which then they talk about how they created the token. So then there's another important part called the roadmap. And like this Solarium one, this one doesn't have a roadmap because it's just one thing. That's it. This is done.
Yeah.
This thing has a more complicated roadmap because they're trying to increase incentives to have the brand have value. And also, apparently, they have some 10-year plan. This
Yeah.
project
And
has.
so are they trying to, is there a game associated with this? Like, it seems right now like a pyramid scheme in the sense that, not in a negative way, but like a lot, whatever pension funds or pyramid schemes, because it's like the young people who flood into the market, as long as there's larger uh, base, they pay. Like in Social Security works really well because the population in 2050 should be larger than the population in 2020. Therefore, a larger base can pay up, right? This
Yeah,
one, it's
yeah.
yeah. So, but generally speaking, so this people are joining and participating, but I understand like right now everybody's doing it because I would say a large percentage of the people are doing it because they're financially incentivized to do it, right? But what
And
percentage of the
also,
population is doing it for fun and like they don't care about losing money? They're like when I'm going to the arcade game, right? And when I was playing actual Street Fighter, I would burn 10, $15 in a several hour period because I'm playing the game and enjoying it, right?
mhm,
With
mhm.
this, what is the fun?
Right now, the financial incentive for me is that you join the Discord. And the Discord is where you get a lot of information that is really high level.
Well, that's you, but I mean, like, what are the who are the
Other
net
people want to
who are
get that
well,
information.
who's the net contributors that are feeding the value here, right? So you were a contributor because of financial reasons, right? But like maybe a little bit of it is fun, but like where's the driver of where are the customers?
Yeah, the customers are the people who are trying to get into these locked channels here that you can only get into
But
because
why are they trying to
you
get
have
into it?
because the people that are in this group are some of the smartest, most successful people
So
in all of
so
crypto.
so those people, yeah, but what I mean is if they're just trying to get in for money, to me, those are
Mhm.
the suppliers. They're just like, do you know what I mean? That's the
Yeah,
pyramid
yeah,
scheme. That's the
yeah,
pyramid
yeah.
scheme aspect to it. And I'm not
Yep.
trying to be a hater because
No, no,
literally,
no.
like all of VC is like that, right? If you are
Yep.
the seed funder for Airbnb or Uber, you're basically at the top of the pyramid, and like people who are funding Uber at a D round at a $10 billion valuation, they're getting a lot. They're kind of pushing up the valuation for the people who invested at Uber at 10 million instead of 10
Hmm.
billion, right?
Hmm.
So that part is fine, but ultimately, who are who's gonna what's the fun aspect of this thing? What's the thing that's this system, right? Let's say it's a kind of a DAO or something, right? Or it's a company or it's an entity that exists, right?
Hmm.
Who are the net
Hmm.
contributors of money who can spend and lose money in this system who would be happy to do it? Because you
I
would not
think,
be happy to do it. You want
yeah,
to,
there's
you're
no, I don't
working in
have
the
any
system.
incentive to sell it. Yeah, I think right now it still has to become clear because we're trying to build the brand slowly so they don't shoot up too fast and overpromise a bunch of things
So the
that they
game
can't
is
do.
to own the NFT, mate, and then uh but where's the fun aspect? Or is it the idea that you're then going to take this character and then move it into a metaverse and have fun in portals or something with it?
I believe that that's probably going to be the one of the results. Right now, apparently buying land in Sandbox, or they bought land in Sandbox.
Oh, okay, okay. Now you're starting to get to the answer to what I'm trying to figure
Yes,
out is like, okay,
yes,
yes, I understand that this has value because it's basically a bunch of investors and speculators and business people. Even though I know you don't view yourself as a business person, this is a business for you, and you're like literally working on Discord to get into these like high quality NFT projects, right? So you're
yes.
doing it like a
Yeah.
job. And so you've got Dragon, and then so the Dragon project is then now going to, and this is the real promise of Meta World, right? Or the metaverse,
Hmm.
is you're going to have these countries or territories or worlds that are going to be, because of composability, you'll be able to teleport from one world to another, and you'll take your skin with you, right? Like
Yep.
you have your dragon thing, and then you can take your dragon identity and then move into. Did you say where do they buy land? Decentraland or portals?
Sandbox.
Sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sandbox
Sandbox
and
is,
Decentraland are like two competitive. What? Explain to me what is Sandbox?
it's basically like Decentraland, and it's a game, and it's also virtual real estate. So right now
Is this
they're doing
on Ethereum or Solana?
this is on Ethereum. Yeah. So
Okay.
you need a MetaMask wallet. So you sign in with your MetaMask wallet, and I only have 0.03 Ethereum in that MetaMask wallet.
And
But
wait,
you,
so you have your Dragons project is on Solana, right?
hmm hmm
And how did they buy? They somehow converted that entity owns land in Sandbox.
yes, and so this is where the interesting aspect comes in, because their plan, they say, is to have a cross-chain application, or some kind of like cross-chain functionality that we can integrate into all these other systems, even if they're not on Solana.
So
And
then
so
you can
that's going to
take
be
your
some,
character into Sandbox,
yes, yes,
and
I
then
believe that's where they're going right now.
okay, and then
So
you can play with the dragons.
yes, and they'll own land in Sandbox too, which I'm not sure what they're going to do, and that's probably going to be a project that we all vote on later.
So that's super
But
interesting. So it's almost like, do you know when you go to the airports and if you're part of whatever airlines uh, uh, business lead or whatever, you can use, there's the general waiting area, and then there's like the concierge waiting, there's the business lounge, right?
yes,
And so
yes,
like you can go to Sandbox and play in the general space, and then if like you're part of Dragon's group, you can also go exclusive Dragon's territory, right?
probably that's
Something
probably
like
how
that.
it'll be. Or they could turn it into some sort of space, like like a virtual concert venue or office space, or something that people would want to use in a
But it's,
professional capacity, but it's their space. So I'm assuming that there's a way to monetize that. I don't really quite
oh,
know.
that's really interesting. And so that's
So
just one world. So an entity like Dragons is a collective of people, right?
mhm,
With characters and whatever. And the first main uh, what's the right word? The first main project that they're doing that they've announced is we've now taken the money we've generated through NFT sales and bought land in Sandbox. And that's
yes,
one of potentially many uh, uh, plots of land that they could buy. They could buy one in Sandbox, they could buy one in Dreamland, they could buy one in Portals. And
mhm,
then you now are part of a group that's both like a DAO. You could like your NFT is like shareholding. You're one of how many? 5,000?
500, I think,
500. You're one of
or
500
maybe less.
shareholders. Okay, you're one of X amount of shareholders, 500 shareholders in this Dragons collective that
Mhm,
today owns unused speculative land in Sandbox, but potentially could do it in Decentraland and Portals.
yeah.
And then those things would have utilities depending on whatever they vote and figure out. And so right now we're in the a Wild West scram, right? So that's why I'm not using the speculative pyramid scheme descriptors as a negative. Rather, it's just that's just the way it is right now in the early phase, and it's only a negative if it doesn't become anything. But if
Yes.
it's used to with the larger view that we're going to be doing something in the metaverse, then that's when it all kind of comes together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is what I see the value of this specific NFT is they took the time right now to build the brand and to build the hype around the project,
And
and then they use that to actual develop other utility as well besides outside of their own ecosystem.
so their brand is less like the imagery and more the like high caliber trust of the team, or of the
Yes,
leaders. That's
yes,
the brand.
exactly.
And that's why you
Hmm.
told explain to me, you said they went right to the top of in terms of like most trusted NFT groups.
Yeah, well, there's this guy, Nate Roth, on Twitter who he does a lot of he makes a lot of charts, and one of those charts are his power rankings um, of each NFT project. He comes
Wait, go
out
back for a
listing.
second. Go back to that tweet. I want to see, what did he say?
Oh,
Uh,
this is Solana
Nate
Legend.
Roth has great Web3 and NFT takes, and his daily power rankings are incredibly useful. A must follow for anyone in the space. ETH or Sol. This is so
Yeah.
interesting to me that ETH and Sol are now like they're becoming in my mind like the duopoly type.
Yep.
I feel like every month that goes by, the gap between those two and the other L1 chains is growing, although maybe like it's still early, and like chains like Avalanche and Tezos have been popping up a lot on my radar. And
Mm.
obviously
Mm,
there's everybody shits on Cardano. So like they're
yeah.
the one that everybody's sorry, go ahead.
So I don't know when
Oh yeah,
this
yeah.
came
You just
out.
had it on number 12, right?
This is this is I don't know if what day this is. Oh, this is old. This is November 16th. So let me go to his Twitter and see like if I can find the newest version of his chart.
What's his name?
Nate Roth. Okay, so this is the November 30th, the most recent one. And here you can see Boryoku DragonZ are fourth behind CryptoPunks, Cyberkonks, and Bored Ape Yacht Club, which
So
is
Bored Ape
crazy.
Yacht Club is Solana, right?
No, those three are all Ethereum.
Bored Ape Yacht. I thought Bored Ape Yacht Club was Solana.
No, it's Ethereum. Yeah. Solana Monkey Business
Oh,
is
Solana
Ethereum. Is
Monkey
Solana.
Business.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is the top NFT project on Solana.
Yep. After a month
Oh,
of
they don't even
being in
have
existence.
1 month, 2 month of
Yep.
data.
Yep. Yeah. It the value comes from like
Look, oh,
the
total
price
supply is
and
1,111, right? An auspicious number in Chinese culture.
mm,
Singles Day, 11/11.
oh yeah.
When do they
Yeah.
launch? Did they launch on 11/11?
They launched on November 3rd, I believe. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Literally the days it's been around is 28 days, and you got it on mint day.
Yep.
How long were you before the mint day? How long were you participating in their Discord?
I had their Discord wasn't even around at the
How
time.
did you know to mint with them?
Or actually, no, just kidding. It was around. There wasn't that many people a part of it because the Discord had only been around for like a week or two, I believe. I'm not quite sure. I was only in the Discord the day of the mint, actually.
So it was by chance,
Yes.
and you
Mhm.
just went instinctually and got it.
Yeah, I mean they did that whole process I told you that made it
Okay.
confusing. But right now, what I really wanted to show you was the 10th legendary is being bid on at the Art Basel exhibition.
What does that mean, 10th legendary?
This is the last legendary uh, dragon that they have to reveal. These are like the very special, the most intricate artwork,
Oh,
and like they give you some exclusive status within this already exclusive group. And
it's at Art
the
Basel right now,
yeah, mhm,
and it's 15 hours left in the auction, and it's so far at 230,000.
yeah, 1,700.
Someone wait, the last one was 420. So this is so funny, so typical like crypto world. So it's
Yeah,
like 5 SOL, 8 SOL, 150 SOL, and then it's like 169 SOL, of course. And they bid
yeah,
39,689. Okay, that's nothing. And then it goes from 169 SOL to 420 SOL,
mhm.
right? The classic stuff. And then the next one is immediately going to 1,000 SOL. So someone put in like a gangster bid to just like win. That's
Because the
crazy.
last two sold for 800 and 805. So
Oh,
it's
so you know if uh that's around where they should be going. Uh,
yeah,
These
yeah.
top 10, and this is the last of the 10 most exclusive dragons.
Yeah, the cheapest one I think was bought for 275, and
I
this one is
I
going
didn't
for a
even
thousand.
I didn't even tell you yesterday I lost the bid on Bukel, Bukel, the guy who's president of El Salvador. You know, he's like turning El Salvador into like a crypto oasis for North
Oh
America.
yeah,
I
yeah,
bought
yeah.
his name on Solana, and then someone outbid me, and I just ran out. I was like not that interested in like getting into a bidding contest, so I let them win at like 4 SOL. But
Mm-hmm.
no, this is super interesting. Cool baby kaiju. What is this?
So this is Magic Eden, and Magic Eden is the marketplace where you attach your wallet right here
Okay.
to the marketplace to buy and sell items. So obviously you have to have Solana in your wallet, and then you connect the wallet to the marketplace. Magic Eden has only been around for like a month and a half as well, or 2 months maybe. And they have
Okay.
shot up to being the number one like trading volume marketplace on Solana. And coincidentally, OpenSea is the number one marketplace for Ethereum. And just to give you an idea of the volume, Magic Eden does twice as many transactions a day than OpenSea.
I mean, this is my bull case for why Solana has a lot more to go,
Yep.
which is uh, Ethereum is unusable at their transaction costs. Like the amount of transaction that just in buying and selling NFTs that I've been doing in the last couple of weeks, you realize you're going through a ton of transaction fees on Solana all the time. But because it's
Mhm.
basically zero in terms of real cost, whatever 0.0001 Solana or whatever, every time you're clicking approve, because you have to then refund, right? So like on Bonafide, you get outbid, then you refund your money, then you rebid again, and you're swapping from Solana to USDC, or then you're swapping from USDC to FIDA. You're
Yeah.
doing just Solana transactions at every step of the way. And you can't functionally do that if it was Ethereum
Yeah,
because
because you pay
what will you
fifty
pay to like
dollars for each little transaction.
yeah, and then it's like
Yeah,
okay, like I click my wallet 4 times and I've just blown $300. It's like what
yeah,
this
yeah.
completely unusable. So it's not a liquid market at all at those kinds of fees, in my opinion.
So what I did, like, I went to my items here, and these are the NFTs in this specific wallet. Obviously, I don't have my best ones in here. I just have some other ones. But you can see your items here. And so this is the Kyobo Drake that I bought. And I bought it because there's a lot of FOMO around dragons.
Wait,
And
what is this one?
this is a different dragon project,
Oh, a
Kyobo Drakes.
different dragon. So is it like the dog coins is a genre of like shit coins like Doge
Yeah,
and Shiba Inu? And
we call
now
them
we've got
derivatives.
so
Yeah.
now we have dragon family of things, and you have both the original the OG dragons, and then you have these like derivative dragons.
There's a lot of people who, like, once they get on a team that's popular, they see all the derivative projects and they kind of scoff at it, and they don't want to engage in the market because it's not as good as theirs. It's kind of like team mentality. But for me, I looked at this and I said, everyone wants to be the next dragons. So obviously people are going to start to make more dragon projects. So this one ended up being a free mint. It was basically
How did you find out
0.0015.
about them?
Somebody in one of the discords that I'm in shared a link to this project to the Discord server. Sorry, hang on. So each project has a bunch of servers, and they'll have different sections where they are telling you like, this is the project. And so they'll say like, this is the Twitter, the website. They give you all the relevant information, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to actually get involved with it.
So you
And
got
so we
this for
have this voting
free,
system.
and then now it's at $100 in value at least.
Yes, yeah, right now.
And so that's a
the current
smart strategy to think about, which is similar to the reason why people swapped behaviorally are swapping from Ethereum to Solana because they're priced out. If people want to play with Dragon iconography and have Dragon NFTs, they can't afford the original dragons now, right?
Yep.
And
Mhm.
so there's always going to be the Gucci's and the Pradas, and there's always going to be the Chinese knockoffs in Chinatown and New York City, which will still be expensive, but won't. If a Gucci bag costs $1,000, you could get a nice knockoff Gucci for 100 in
Yeah.
Chinatown in New York City. So
Yeah.
these are the knockoff
Yep.
or the genre players. What did you call them? What was the word you used?
Derivative projects.
Derivative projects that
Yeah.
also have value, even though they're not the most exclusive original ones.
Yeah. So you can see like clearly like the art isn't as good, but it's still decent and it's not as involved. But there's
Because so they do it
777 of them.
they do it fast, and it's like quick and dirty versions of it.
Yeah. I mean, you can
Can you
see.
tell? I can't tell. My eyes can't tell that. Okay, it definitely does look like the dragon one does look a little bit more ornate, but how hard would it have been to then uh did they purposely make it look shittier, or they just made it shittier because they were rushing it to
I
capture
think it
the
was rushed. Plus, they want to capitalize on the timing of the market.
yeah.
And you can
Okay.
see, like, even though this project is like visually inferior and it's like smaller, so their whole breeding thing, their whole token, they're basically copying the roadmap of the Boryoku dragons in this project, where they have
Okay.
breeding, they have tokens, they have hatching.
How were they able
And
to do that without programming in? Are there templates to just do all of that? Like
I
how are they
think
able to do that without the
a lot
technical
of times
skills?
these projects, they promise a lot of stuff in their roadmaps, and they say we're going to do this, and then like I can go to the Kyobo Drake's server on Discord and show you
But like
what.
the dragon people, you believe they can do it because they seem like they can deliver on that stuff, right? Because someone has to
Yes,
program that.
yes,
Because
the team.
the GIF animated flowers that we started out with, the artist didn't have to program much. They just
Yeah,
the solariums, they just do it, and then it's a one-off delivery, and there's no, you can't call like something like this, like you can't say, oh, I was rugged when I got the solarium NFT, because it's no, you just buy it and that's it, right? We're not
yeah,
promising
you know
anything
what you're
else.
getting. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's no rugging
Mhm.
possible in this kind of transaction. However, with this, go back to the knockoff dragons. Uh,
Oops.
what are they called?
Kyobo Drinks.
Kyobo dragons. If they sold, issued, minted a bunch of this, collected several thousand soul or whatever, and then just closed their Discord and disappeared, you would say this was a rugged project. Whereas the
Yep.
other one with the flowers solarium NFTs is not you cannot be rugged in that project because they're not saying they're going to do anything else other than mint these and then we're gone, right?
Yes, yes. And so this
So
is where the discrepancy has come in with the market recently, is because on Solana for a long time, the projects that would get popular were just the profile picture projects. And then some of them would add utility later, but initially you're just buying it for the art and the profile picture aspect of it. And then cyberkongs, like they had their tokenomics, and that was like the first kind of project that did something like that, and it was on Ethereum.
And
So
I think the promise, I mean, I think it would have happened with or without Facebook's announcement of their transition into Meta and like the support of the metaverse and the rumors about Apple's better version of Oculus, basically, where they're basically going to put like an M1 or M2 chip on your eyeballs, and it's like a wrapped it's like it's just like an Oculus, it's a VR set you put on your face, but Apple does it. And so like uh that's really gonna accelerate the anticipation that the metaverse is becoming real, in the sense that it's not just um a bunch of video games that can interact with each other. It's not just like Call of Duty and Super Mario Brothers can interact on the same plane now, right? It's
yeah,
it's that that is the metaverse, but then also it's literally a more, how do you want to call it, like a more tricking our brain into a deeper reality than what we experience the internet now. So
yeah,
it's both VR, and it's the metaverse can exist without VR, right? The metaverse exists
yes.
today with composability, right?
Each one of these projects essentially is creating their own metaverse, their own ecosystems.
Their own, I would say it creates their own world, like the
Yes,
same way Mars, Earth, Venus, and Jupiter are all on the same solar system. But when I go from Earth to Mars, I have to I exist in the Mars environment, and so I'm still me, and I can still take some of my entity identity and stuff, but then now I have to observe the the physics of that world in that space,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
if you're a Dragon Z if you're a Boryoku Dragon and you go to Decentraland versus you go to Portals, you might still look like your dragon, but you would be doing different things, and it might be a completely different reality depending on.
yeah. That's kind of like the end, like, or an idea that's further down the road. But the thing that I like about this project is you can really tell that they planned out a lot of these steps ahead of time, or at least the broad strokes. Whereas a lot of the projects that I see um, on Discord, on Twitter, the NFT projects, they're just trying to copy the roadmap and then deliver stuff later. So they don't have everything built out. And you can tell that because of the time it takes them to get everything. Like these Kyobo drakes, uh, they are oh, where'd it go?
So there's a gold rush mentality right now, is to put your
Yes,
stake, you're trying to put your stake in the ground now, and
yes.
then deliver on your promises.
And the
So
thing is that it's just get people to buy the NFTs if you actually have a good project and you actually want to do the work, which I think if you don't plan ahead enough and you just promise a bunch, like a lot of these projects do just because they want to get people to buy the NFT, then they promise a whole bunch and then they can't end up doing it, and then they disappear. So there's a few projects on here that I'm a part of where that's happened, where the project just fizzles out into nothing and
because they're
it
spreading
doesn't do
themselves
anything.
too thin. And so this is the real difference between um, outright fraud and high risk, high reward projects. So
Yes.
this is what happened in the VC world or whatever startup world or anything, where it's like the line between fraud and regular failure is whether you intended to fail from the beginning or you just failed because you weren't able to execute on what you promised. So like
Yeah.
that's why like if it's an outright fraud, that means they never intended to do anything that they said and they were just trying to get your money.
Yeah.
However, the failure can also be in that they're just not as competent at executing against what they're both thinking through what they want to do and then actually delivering on what they say they want to do.
Yeah, yeah, especially if it's just one or two or three people and they're promising all these things, but they don't really know. Like there's this project that I'm in right now that we don't know if this person intended to rug, but at the current moment, it looks like they just kind of disappeared because the last announcement that we have from them is from the 27th. And nobody has heard anything from this project lead. And it looks like over here, you can see all the people who are in the server right now.
That's just six
And
days, but if you're offline for 6 days during Thanksgiving weekend, that's like people are like freaking out that, oh, are you rugging? You have to be
the
in such,
thing,
yeah, go ahead.
the thing is about this space is everybody wants constant communication every day. And if you go away and you don't say you're going away, then everyone just assumes like, oh, they ran off with the money, or
That's
something, or
crazy.
they'll
Are
do
there
the
ways? So
soft
right
runs.
now that we're in such a Wild West territory, there's no way to uh, enter these systems in with more smart contracts type systems. Like, what would be the idea? Something like escrow accounts and things like
They
that.
have that. Yeah, they have that in certain servers. People can create escrow accounts in Discord itself, or have other people like provide the escrow to do trades. That so you don't have to do it on the marketplace.
No,
Um,
but are there ways to like? Are there systems set up that can mitigate the rugging behavior
I think
yet,
there are
or
people
not yet?
trying. Yeah, there's a few projects right now that are trying to do things like that. This project actually that's being featured here um, is this
Geno
one,
pets.
and it's
Derug
called,
snakes. Yes, you
yeah,
mentioned derug snakes on the
yeah.
Discord. Okay.
So this one, the we don't really know what happened. Uh, I think sometimes there are people who are called serial launchers, where they just launch a bunch of projects and then they just hand it off to other people, or for one
Oh,
reason or
they have
another,
that
it doesn't
on
captivate their
Shopify.
interest.
They
Yeah,
have that on Shopify where people like set up stores and they're like experts at the setup part of it, and then they quickly flip their like early startup store to other people
yeah.
for
So this
like,
one, they just handed it off to the community, and everyone was like, what? And the art is really good for like pixel art. Like this is pretty involved, and it's also animated too. So this is a lot more technically involved, and just like expensive to upload these kind of pictures rather than
what is
just
it?
the static ones.
Is this on Ethereum or is this on
Mm,
Solana?
it's on Solana, but I mean it still
So,
costs money.
oh, okay, I see what you're saying. It's
Like,
expensive.
and
So if you have higher quality animated stuff, how much would like let's say this snake, the one second from the right or whatever, how much would that cost? Dreg
I,
Snake
I
823 to upload.
I don't really know the upload cost. I think it varies based on the collection size. Um,
Okay.
and it also depends on like how you're launching the project too. But the funny thing about this project is, so the developers stepped away and just said, we're giving it to the community. And they were like, what? And so then the value just became whatever the community itself, the holders of the NFT, decide it to be. So they ended up getting it listed on Magic Eden for sale. And I don't remember what the original mint price of this was. I think it was zero point 0.4, 0.5 or something Solana.
So it's 3x already.
So, and there was a pump. You can look, so you can see the items on Magic Eden, and this is like the items sold, and you can filter them out based on recently listed low to high or high to low. So I always do high to low so I can see uh, just what the bottom price point is. But you can go to activity here, and activity shows you each individual transaction based on time. So you can see like, okay, the most recent sale was 3 Solana, but then a lot of them have been around 1 something. And then some sell for a lot
So
because
show
maybe
me,
they're
what does a pump look like? Don't
a
show me
pump.
what you're looking for from when you say when you show me when you know you're looking at a pump.
So you can see here that, I can go actually to the very beginning. Okay, so these are like the first transactions. For some reason, whenever this came back into the marketplace, people were buying it at 1.85 sold. Why? I don't know, but that's just the value that people saw. And so you can see it kind of dipped to 1.6 and then it
Wait,
went
wait, wait.
back.
Well, where's the pump? Show me how you know that there's a pump, or what your eyes see that indicates to you that it's a pump.
All I'm doing is I'm looking at the floor price and I'm seeing that the floor price is going up or down over a period of time.
And
And
okay, wait, wait. When it's first listed, 1 day ago, it's at 1.8, right?
well,
And you're
this is what
saying,
it's sold for. So
oh,
I
it's
don't know
sold for
originally.
1.8,
Yes.
and you're saying the floor price at the time was 0.4, and so you and
Well,
you
I don't know what it was at the time. There might be a way you can check that, but I'm not sure. I just look at the sales, what's being sold, so I can kind of get like an average price
so
because
you
a lot of times you'll see people buy from the bottom up to like raise the overall price. So I'm just
so
kind of
but where's
assuming
the
that this is around the
so
bottom.
where's the pump? Show me, if you can't show it on this snakes one, show me on one that's super obvious to you, so that I can see what you mean. Because in my view, in like a classic, like do you ever see that movie with what's the word? Anyways, like in my mind, a pump and dump is when you have the same people buying and selling to create volume and to create an
Yes,
artificial sense of volume. And so you would be able to see it with wallets and things, right? Like
this
if,
is the perfect example of that project. Like
okay, show me.
this is called Monkey Kingdom, and
Okay.
I would, and right now you can see the cheapest one is almost 20 Solana.
Okay.
And the mint price on this I think was 0.4 or something. Like,
Okay.
so people have bought and sold,
Show
and
me.
you can see here that these are what they're selling for now, but uh you could well, I think this specific graph doesn't actually um keep all of the transactions. They probably, after a certain amount of transactions, they probably stop with the data. But if you can chart out the data, then you can kind of create a better picture. But what
Tell me
basically,
what would you see that would make you think that it's a pump? If it's
so
point
what,
0.4, and so explain it.
so basically what I do is like, I know the mint price. So I say zero point 0.4, and then you look at the floor price to see like what's the cheapest price people are buying this at. And
Yeah,
then
and
I literally
what's an
sit here.
example? What's an example of a pump? You still haven't
I mean,
answered that.
yeah, well, I sit here and I watch the floor price. So I see it. Is it going up? Is it going down? I'm trying to basically create the chart that you would see like on the normal stock graph. I create that in my head, basically. And so I'm using the floor price as the price point and seeing it go up or down. And I'm sitting here clicking refresh
No,
and
no, no.
seeing if
I
the price
understand.
changes.
Maybe I'm not being clear, or either you're not communicating or I'm not asking correctly. Like, if it's minted at 0.4, what would you call a pump? The first, if they mint at 0.4 and then 1 hour later, all the mints are gone, and now they're selling the next one at 8. Okay, like
Yeah.
let's use
Yeah.
portals as an example. You called me frantically last week saying you got to invest in portals. I ignored it. I was asleep, whatever, right? You minted at 1.5. Within hours, it's at 8. Is that a pump?
Yeah, that's a pump. And but then you like if everyone decides to sell at 8, obviously then it dumps. But and if you have a coordinated group of people buying up the supply and then all selling once it gets to a certain point, then that is the pump and the dump. And those are usually coordinated by groups
And how
on
do you know about
Discord.
that? Because I got messaged a bunch of stuff. A bunch of like sleazy people would message me on Instagram or whatever, saying, "Hey, we've got this secret Discord for pump and dumping," and like they're trying to like coordinate pump and dumps. And I don't
Yeah.
understand if they need recruits or if the coordination is like a no honor among thieves. Like they're trying to get me to like join a nefarious group, and they're gonna trick me out of my money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
hunting,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
hunters are hunting other hunters as a way to like figure out who to scam, you
Yeah.
know?
So this is where Discord comes in because it's the primary mode of communication between these groups. So
So the
this
price is
is the
not really
chat.
the indication of where you're feeling like pump and dumps. It's more what activity you're seeing around the Discord and the price action.
And what people are saying and the broader market forces as well. Like, do
Okay.
people at large think that this project has a value other than the people already invested in it? And so like, and they'll talk to each other on the Discord here, and they'll coordinate like, oh, this is the list price, this is the floor price. So this is kind of the example of the Discords I could show you, where you have a chat in a project. This is a smaller project, and the the people in it are much more invested in raising the floor price. So you'll see
In a
people,
good way or in a bad way?
I
Because
mean,
isn't
really,
that what you're saying is a pump?
yeah, this is where you have all these different forces at work, because some people want the project to succeed. So they want the floor price to go up. I'm trying to see if
Wow,
I
you
can.
can really see on portals the volume is really high. Look, it's got 36,000 soul already.
Yep, yep, yeah. This is
The floor is up to 12.5. You messaged me, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday, saying it was down to like 11.
yeah,
From the floor was at 18 earlier, right?
yeah. So you can see like the sales have kind of centered around 11, 12, and then they pumped
Yeah,
up to 15 and like 14 almost, and then they settled back down to where they are now at 12.5.
for now.
But that's just for the ivories. Like you can go here and you can see the unit type, and you can see
Oh,
the
the
floor
floors
price.
are way higher for the higher quality ones.
So Onyx, the next level up is 60 is the cheapest one, and then
What's the
Vision
advantage of
is
those rooms?
350. Uh, the advantage is the different perks and aspects of the rooms, and probably the customization and
Wait, can I
the
just
themes.
pause it for a sec? Because I have so many questions. This magiceden.io, that's like OpenSea for Solana.
Yes,
So Portals trades on Magic Eden. That's the place to trade it.
yes.
You can't trade
Mhm.
Portals anywhere else.
If the project decides they want to increase the amount of marketplaces, then they do. They'll sell on another one called Exchange Art, or this other one called Solan Art. Yeah,
Okay, I think
and
Exchanger might be one of the, I can't remember where I bought the Bromados. It was like art
yeah,
something.
or Alpha Art is another
Alpha
one.
Art, I think,
Alpha
is the
Art.
one I use. So you can list on multiple exchanges.
Yes, if you want to. And some projects do that just because they're trying to like get as much uh like as many eyes as they can on their product.
Yeah, it
But
makes
like
sense.
the Boryoku Dragons, I think the thing that has worked in their favor is the fact that they've only ever listed on Magic Eden. So everyone knows if you want a dragon, you can only get them on Magic Eden.
So
Uh,
go back to portals. Explain to me the highest quality one. What was the advantage? I cut you off because I was curious
so
about
with the
Magic Eden.
visions, they're the most rare, but obviously as well, I from what I understand, again, they don't put all the information out at front. Everything's kind of like slowly you find more and more out. But the vision ones are the most exclusive. They're the ones that are going to have the best benefits and like things you can do, and probably as the company builds more project integrations and maybe exclusive
So
offers.
portals right now is really like it's like Roblox or some video game company or so, it's not exactly like that, but it's like some sort of video game type company
Yes.
uh, that they're selling their they're like pre-selling their real estate using NFTs, right? Like the next
This is
generation of video games is going to all be on NFT world because you don't have to worry about NFTs put in a lot of protections for the users against dilution of the like if you were playing Call of Duty and you bought space in one of their levels because you don't it's not an NFT, the Call of Duty people can just like add more levels if they want to make more money and dilute you
right.
down, whereas
Yes.
Portals is having like limited. Okay, so this is
This
the
is the
demo.
website. This is, yeah, they show the demo.
Wait, there's
And
two images. One is on the left, one is on the right. What is the
yeah,
difference?
this is them showing that you can move stuff around in the demo room and how you interact with stuff, and you have like your little avatar that you create. And they also showed that they're incorporating other 3D animated NFTs already uh, into the project. So they showed a picture somewhere of this other NFT project's avatar inside of the rooms. And so you're going to be able to, at least with Solana, certain Solana projects, they're going to be able to use that as your avatar in the space. So this is just like a zoomed in version of the demo.
Of a
And
of a filled out room.
they did this key hunt. So in order to entice people to be some of the first um, involved with this project, you could solve this riddle in the room, um, and it would give you like a special role in the Discord. And I don't know exactly what they did for those people, but I'm sure they did something for them before the mint, or maybe they got the mint link a little bit earlier or something. So you just like create your guy and then you just get inside.
So the characters are unlimited. That part's not the exclusive part. The limitation is the real estate. You can have as
Yeah.
many people as you want. The limitation
Oh,
is the portal's room.
yeah. So it's like really laggy right now. But basically, like I can go and I can interact with this stuff. And uh,
Where do you know where your room is because you have the NFT?
they haven't released them to us yet. Uh, all you can do is like go to the demo room right now.
That's so
Actually,
interesting. I'm still
so this
chewing
is,
on this. This is really
yeah,
I'm still trying to decide because I don't want to be one of those people where it's like, oh well, the thing is already 10x, so I missed it or whatever. It's like, no, don't look at it that way. You got to look at it like what's the potential of this longer term, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Let me just get out of it because the computer did not like it. Anyway, So that's this is so laggy.
Do you know the team? You can just close the tab. Do you know the team behind Portals? Are
Uh,
they pseudonymous or are they?
they are not like completely doxed, as they say. Like you don't know exactly who they are, but the the reason that I was so sold on this project right away was because someone in the Dragons group on the Discord told me that the head developer, he's not online right now, but the person who runs Portals is a Solana monkey business holder. So he had some sort of clout already as uh, as a Solana monkey business person. So people could kind of vouch for him and his abilities. So that's what made me trust in more in the project. And then when I reached out to him, most likely because I'm in the Dragons, he answered my messages and he talked to me and answered my questions, and it kind of alleviated my doubts about the project. And then as I did more research, I found like, oh, this so they actually have doxed some people. Um, they
It's
have
so
their
funny.
strategy.
Doxing used to be like a negative thing. Now it's like fine.
It's kind of like a positive thing for some people. So
Yeah.
they don't show their faces, but like you can see they're like real people, and here's their names, and some of them link to their Twitters. So you can go to their Twitter and you can see like this is somebody who's a part of this project, you know. And they
Yeah.
actually
At
have a
some
Twitter, and
point,
it actually has like an age and engagement and stuff. It's not a brand new profile with like
yeah.
fake
With like,
followers and stuff.
yeah. At some point, the point of vulnerability for NFTs is, in my opinion, is Discord and Twitter, basically, because those are
Yes,
still
yes,
centralized companies.
yes.
And up until now, like, we don't have a, do you know this? It's called a shilling point. It basically means like right now the shilling points for everybody to meet up is meet up on Discord, meet up on Twitter. You know, by default, just go there, right? And you'll find the everybody who's doing stuff in the space will either have at least a Discord and at least a Twitter. Now, um, you know, at some point, like we're gonna have to go. Right now, we're on the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3, and the other end of the bridge is on the Web 2 world, which is Twitter and Discord and all that stuff, where they can
Mm-hmm.
cut you off and delete you and block your stuff, kill your. They can rug you without you wanting to rug your community. Like they can just like they can delete your community if they wanted to.
Yep, yep.
So those are things to think about. Yeah, I'm.
Y-
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's and I kind of look at Discord as the single point of failure for communication, and Twitter, because Discord is really hard for people to understand just as an app. And then also like you have people who've never maybe they don't even speak English. And some channels, some of the bigger channels, they have other languages. So like Portals, they have Chinese, Dutch, Filipino, like they have different language channels.
Mhm.
But there's still a whole aspect of the culture with the abbreviation like GM and GN, and like how they talk, um, with all the abbreviation that you would have to learn as a second language,
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, I think yeah, I mean, so it's still evolving. Um, I mean, but the language barrier, I would assume, is going to persist regardless.
Yes, yes. Even for English, I showed my brother a screenshot yesterday of one of the chats, and I said, "This is what the chat looks like." This the and he was like, "That looks like a whole other language, and it's in
Yeah,
English." Like,
yeah, it's so true
it's
because
really
I
funny.
think with crypto generally, Web3, whatever, there's all these like it was extremely overwhelming when I first started getting into it. After last year, after DeFi Summer, I vowed I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dedicate the next year to understand DeFi and crypto. And I started on the journey end of December last year, and it's been almost a year. But one of the most important things was just like accepting that you're not going to understand a lot, and you just need to keep uh, pushing the right content into your head, and at some point your subconscious is going to start to stitch together the the world, and you'll start to piece together what makes sense and all that. And that's part of the whole journey with you with the NFTs is you're doing there's no like book that we can turn to and read. There's no like collated organized system to like, oh, like this is NFTs 101. Like our discussion is about as, I mean, I think you're a major NFT holder over the last like 30 days, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our understanding about like what to do and how to think about things is like rapidly evolving, and best practices is just going to start coming up. And I'm sure a lot of uh, there's a lot of major events that are on the horizon that we don't even know about that
Yes, and
are
that's
going
kind of the
to
part of my job, I think, that
is
I
to
have
like
to find
is
the projects early and get in on them before that more people find out about it. Like portals was mentioned in this uh, Decrypt article, and alongside Sandbox and Decentraland, and that's huge for them. But like, if you didn't know about it until then, you would have to buy into the project at 14 Solana, 15 Solana.
oh, so it wasn't mentioned in Decrypt until they had already minted.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yep.
that's hard. So I mean yeah, Anatoly, like within a day of them minting, he was like retweeting them and all that. So it's important. I still think the big demand for metaverse real estate, whatever you want to call it, is not going to come until um, the users of metaverse physical equipment is comes in at scale. Like I'm sure
Yes.
there's millions of Oculus users right now, and I know there's a lot of people who play Sims, and Roblox is really big for children all over the world. So like the users are still in the tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions. But like when we get to like several hundred million to a billion is when like it's gonna like slowly then suddenly, So I guess it does make sense to be like early and then just wait,
Mm-hmm.
because once if you're like the difference between being a little bit early and being like a little bit late is like giant orders of magnitude worth of prices, like money.
Yes, clearly. I mean,
So,
in something like portals, it you would have to pay almost 10 times the price.
but then here's the other counter argument: is there a limit to Oculus has been around for 8 years, 10 years, whatever it's been, right? For a while. But it
Mm-hmm.
hasn't, it's been going, but it didn't take off. But I feel like it's really gonna take off when Apple does it, right?
Yeah.
Portals is the first major metaverse um, project that has a lot of potential on Solana, right?
Yeah.
But if
Mm-hmm.
it really is generating a ton of demand and a ton of revenue, why wouldn't someone just recreate another version of Portals? And or it's just going to be like the same thing with the Dragons. It's like the A team.
Yeah.
It's the same. See, this is the thing, is like trying to
Yep.
figure out like, okay, well, what are the limiting factors? Like, here's the thing: in the real estate worlds, you say, okay, well, there's only one Manhattan, and there's specific things that are limiting and forcing the prices to go up in those specific geographies. Like one of them
Mm.
around Manhattan. So like a mind wants to analogize from the real world to the virtual world. And so these are some of the things that may or may not hold true. In the real world, uh, New York Harbor is one of the best deep water ports in the world, right? And
Mm.
so that was a specific thing. And so you were able to build this monster sized city because if you can't move things but on water, like the cost of moving stuff like on all the other transport other than water is like 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more expensive. So like if you fly something on FedEx, it's like several thousand times more than if you took it on a boat. Even if you take it by train, it's like 100 times more expensive than if you just take it on those big deep water port boats, right? So that's why you can like move material in at super cheap prices to build the skyscrapers and the roads and all that, the sewers and everything for New York City. Now you think about, so that's why there's not 1,000 New York cities in America. Like if the price is so, there was a time like 10 years ago. I think it's kind of evened out a little bit now, but there was a time like right around the 2008, 9, 10 crash where like most of the most of the real estate market in America crashed, except, and then like the first to recover or whatever was New York City, and it was like a hyper concentration in New York City, but the rest of the country hadn't recovered. And so because New York's real estate prices were being propped up by like foreign buyers, like Chinese buyers and Arab buyers for like Manhattan real estate. So for like one block of New York, you could buy like all the real estate in like Cleveland. Like all of downtown Cleveland was for sale at the same price as like one block of Manhattan. And that didn't make any sense to me. I was like, that's crazy. Like you buy a whole metropolitan area's worth of real estate from like one block here. So there's a little bit of a mismatch. So with
I think there's going to be
portals,
something similar like that, where
like a
it's
hyper
just going to have
concentration
to,
of,
it's already kind of like that right now at the current moment, because most of the projects that have a lot of money behind them are on Ethereum. But as like people who, as it's becoming less and less affordable because of the transaction fees, more and more people are going to Solana, and it's helping the on-chain transaction and on-chain wallet building of Solana grow
I
faster,
mean,
10
that's the
times
thing.
faster than Ethereum.
And I think that's the promise of Solana. And honestly, the long term, there's a fundamental difference between Ethereum and Solana in the sense that like Solana is architected to, they have this expression which is basically like the software will never be the limiting factor for the hardware. Meaning the premise of Solana's chain is that it will not slow down the hardware. So like you can validate using the best hardware in the world using Solana and using Ethereum, and you're going to get way more throughput using the Solana system on the same chips because
the proof of history, right?
Yeah, and it's just like architected better without getting into too much detail because I'm sure I'm gonna mess up the way I understand it. So like I don't want to get like called out for that. But that's generally the like theoretical like reason why I think Solana, as more and more people enter this, like we're basically still at near zero, maybe 1% of people are using crypto on a regular basis, maybe even less than 1%. And so as we're still early on the adoption S curve, and as people enter the Ethereum ecosystem or like the crypto ecosystem, they're not going to be able to use Ethereum because they're first going to want to dabble and like, oh, if I have to dabble at $200 a transaction or $50 a transaction, F that, right? I could buy like Call of Duty for $50, right? Like I'm not gonna, So that's the long-term promise of Solana. But then bringing it back to portals, I still am not 100% convinced that like there might be a psychological thing where we all just decide to meet at portals, right? Let's say, so there's two bets, right? The first bet is that Solana is going to be the chain that wins amongst the chains because it has better architecture for the masses, right?
Or at least becomes a major player.
Yeah, let's say a top player, right? You've got Europe, you've got America, you've got China, whatever. Like, let's say it's a top coin, a top chain, right? So then the question is, bet one is that Solana at minimum sustains its current place at number 5, but my thinking is that it'll achieve number 2 or 3, like in the top 2, outside of Bitcoin. And then the second bet is Portals becomes the metaverse center that's on Solana, and it seems really early to me. And so I don't know if like right now is the team that's executing Portals, is that the best team that's out there, or are there way better teams working at the guys who designed Roblox, or the guys who designed you know, all these like Call of Duty, or Grand Theft Auto, or all these other worlds that are in the professional video game world that have been funded through stocks and regular like fiat transactions, and they're seeing all the money in crypto, and they're like, I see what Portals is doing, and I'll do one even better. And so year 3 years from now, an even better version comes out. So like, is Portals the MySpace of metaverse stuff on Solana, or is it the Facebook, is it the Instagram? So that's the
what
question.
You have to see for sure. And the payoff comes, I guess, from either being early and selling at the right time, or
Riding the S
actually,
curve is just the first of many S curves that keeps getting bigger.
Catching the wave and riding, and so hopefully you make like your investment back if you don't want to support the project anymore. But I just feel like for right now, for me, in terms of my understanding, it is just a big deal, and there would be a lot of hype around that, and it has more potential to grow. So that's kind of why I'm still holding, and I haven't sold. Even when I could have sold at 20, I didn't want to, because I believe in like a few weeks potentially it could go higher. So,
yeah, and that's really smart, especially because there's such crazy high leverage bets, like in the sense that you're not talking about a small, if you're right times 10,000. There's a great, I need to actually publish my notes from the Balaji Tim Ferriss podcast, but he's basically like, when people like these journalists and stuff that are like, the way our brains have been framed, there's this great famous like you know, 10 years ago when like Jon Stewart was making fun of like the fact that Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion, and they had been around for like 8 months, and it was 12 guys, and he was like, it was worth $1 billion. Like, he's making fun of it. And obviously now we look back, and I was like, I think that was an 800x return, because I think Instagram is worth like the majority of, or at least have more than half of Meta's value. But like, on paper, our brains are wired to like think about it, oh, he was wrong. No, he's not wrong. He's 800x wrong. Like, if you were right on that, so if you're right on whether to buy Portals and hold for 2 years or not, if you're wrong 1 soul or 1.5 soul. If you're right, you're right 10,000 soul. Like, your life changes, right? So like, that's really the difference, where we have to really like measure right or wrong is not binary. It's 10x, 100x, 1000x, 10,000x, 100,000x, like huge life-changing event, right or wrong. So that's kind of the thing that's really making me think like, I should really, it's funny, my brother was saying you should just like put bets on everything, and then just like one of them will pay off. So it's easy to say, hard to do when you're pulling the trigger and the price of a room on Portals is $2,300, which is like a brand new like MacBook Pro.
Which is the incentive to find the projects and mint them, and that takes a lot of research and a lot of work to find them. And that's kind of the exciting thing for me about this whole space, is if you can understand the flow of the market and what to look for specifically, how to see this project has some red flags, this project has some green flags, like and then you're at the end of the day, you're still just betting, guessing. You just
I mean, you're making
a,
you know, I think the difference between like what people think, that we use this word bet, and the thing is like, it has a pejorative associated with gambling, but really what you should say, it is a bet, I guess, but like, there's no gambling associated with it. Probabilistic risk associated with informed opinion is completely, and that's like speculation, but that's completely different than like pure randomized, you know, playing Russian roulette or whatever. So like that's the big difference. I've always had this with people when they were like asking me like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, well, I invest in this and that. And they're like, oh, so you're like betting on this, you're gambling. It's like, no, like investment is not the same as gambling. They're completely different.
You're not counting on luck. Yeah.
There's nothing to,
You
yeah, it's
sort of
not,
are, but it's not the majority factor.
it's a probabilistic informed opinion. And there's this book that ironically is written by, I think her name is Annie Duke, and she was a professional poker player. And there's this thing that they talk about called resulting, which means if something has a 75% probability of being right, like some like bet, right, and a 25% chance of it being wrong, and you bet and you make your bet, and then it comes you lose. You're not supposed to then say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. No, what you're doing is you're witnessing the 25% of the time that it's not going to work. And so what people's minds do is when it doesn't work out, they said, oh, I should have never done that. And you're like, no, well, with the information at the time, that's the right bet to make. And then it just didn't work out. And so when you go backwards, you can't do resulting where you're like, oh, it would have been this or that. So anyways, that's a big important factor in terms of like managing your psychology and thinking around some of these projects.
That's how I try to think of it, because even the projects where I've like lost money, which I haven't technically because I haven't sold, but the value has gone down.
The paper value has gone down.
Yeah. I'm still learning because I learned, oh, these are the aspects of that thing that I should pay attention to, and maybe these people can't do what they say they're going to do.
And there's more red flags associated with that. Great, man. Well, this has been a very informative. We will continue, and we have to move forward with our well, I won't reveal anything about what I want to do with you in terms of NFT funds, but the wider world should take advantage of of your knowledge and your work, and the fact that you're not sleeping. You're like staying up 24/7 and like sleeping in you're microdosing your REM so that you can, you're on 100 discords, is that correct?
Yeah, 100. Someone insane. Actually today I was messaging with them on a project, and they said, you're in like every project, and I said, I'm only in 100 discords. There's only like 1,000.
Yeah, well, soon they'll know your face. We're gonna dox your face. We should put a dragon thing over it. You're already on YouTube, so it doesn't matter. All right, well, this was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. Chat soon.
All right.